Have you ever felt emotionally exhausted, drained from constantly trying to live up to the expectations of others, or from defending yourself against the silent judgment in someone's glance? In a world overflowing with noise, pressure, and endless comparisons, it's no surprise that we lose sight of what truly matters. Not the likes, not the approval, not even the validation of being seen as enough in someone else's eyes, but something far deeper. The peace that comes from within. That rare, unwavering tranquility doesn't come from applause or praise. It doesn't bloom from being admired or desired. It grows silently inside you when you stop chasing the outside world and start turning inward. It thrives when you learn to stay grounded, centered, and calm. Not the chaos of the world, but my own thoughts, my emotions, my choices. That is where real power lives. When life becomes a relentless stream of demands, interruptions, and noise, the answer is not to fight the storm, but to step back, to breathe, to embrace silence, and to let your focus become your anchor. This message is not a string of vague affirmations or idealistic dreams. It is a collection of lived lessons, grounded in both ancient wisdom and real, raw experience. What you're about to hear is designed to challenge the way you think, shift how you see yourself, and hopefully lead you to something we all seek but rarely find: peace of mind. So I invite you now to set your distractions aside, silence the mental tabs that keep pulling your attention away, and fully immerse yourself in this journey. Because every insight shared here is a piece of a larger puzzle, and when you connect them all, you'll unlock something far more valuable than information. You'll uncover clarity, serenity, and a deeper sense of self. Let's begin this journey together. Number 1. Rediscovering self-love in a world that glorifies romance. From childhood fairy tales, to romantic comedies, to endless scrolls of polished couple photos on social media, we're constantly taught that the peak of happiness is finding the one. The message is subtle but powerful. You are incomplete until someone else completes you. But Stoicism gently, firmly reminds us that true happiness doesn't begin with another person. It begins within. It starts with cultivating a love that doesn't need permission, a love that doesn't come and go depending on someone else's presence, a love for yourself. And no, this isn't arrogance. This is self-respect. Self-love is the practice of embracing who you are, not who you wish to be, or who others want you to be, but who you are, right now, with all your strengths and all your flaws. It's the courage to celebrate your victories, no matter how small, and to meet your shortcomings with honesty and compassion instead of shame. Picture this. You go through a breakup, the relationship ends, and suddenly there's a hollow silence where a voice once reassured you. You feel a void, and you start questioning your worth. But when you truly love yourself, you realize that your value hasn't changed just because someone walked away. You don't try to numb the pain. You carry it. You honor it. And with every step, you walk forward with dignity. Not because it's easy, but because you've learned that peace doesn't come from others. It comes from within. When you nurture self-love, you stop entering relationships to fill a hole. You stop chasing validation. You begin building connections that are rooted in mutual respect and real joy, not dependency. Think about a close friend, someone who's always been there for you, but maybe life got busy and the connection faded. When you value yourself, you start making space for those friendships again. A simple coffee, a shared laugh, a walk in the park, These moments begin to carry more meaning than 100 likes on a photo. Because now, you're no longer seeking love out of lack. You're sharing it from a place of wholeness. Self-love doesn't isolate you. It expands you. It widens your circle of compassion, not only for those closest to you, but for strangers, for the community, for the world. When you learn to listen to your own needs, you naturally begin to hear the quiet pain in others. It might show up in small moments, offering help to a neighbor, listening without judgment, or volunteering your time to a cause you believe in. You begin to realize that love is not confined to romance. It flows in infinite forms. It flows through kindness, through presence, through patience. Loving yourself doesn't mean rejecting romantic love. It means refusing to depend on it for your happiness. It means choosing to enrich your life through your own choices, rather than waiting for someone else to do it for you. And where do you find this joy? In the quiet moments, in the subtle victories, in the peace of a morning walk, the warmth of a familiar song, the quiet pride in meeting a personal goal. These small joys, overlooked by many, are the building blocks of a truly extraordinary life. A life that doesn't need a romantic subplot to feel complete. Because sometimes, the greatest love story isn't about finding someone else. It's about finally choosing to love yourself, with grace, with honesty, and without conditions. So remember this: you don't need to be anyone else to be worthy of love. You already are. All that's left is to believe it. And when you do, everything begins to change. Not because the world gets easier, but because you begin to walk through it with a strength that comes from the most important relationship you will ever have, the one with yourself. After rediscovering the strength of self-love, we naturally turn to another often overlooked source of power: how we spend our time and how we experience being alone. Number 2, finding peace in solitude and time. Have you ever paused in the middle of life's chaos and silently asked yourself, where did all my time go? Between meetings, unfinished projects, and endless scrolling through your phone, it's easy to lose track of life's most precious asset. Not money, but time. As Seneca wisely put it, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Time, once spent, can never be reclaimed. It's an irreplaceable gift, and the way we use it shapes the entire quality of our lives. Imagine starting your day in a different way. Instead of immediately grabbing your phone to check notifications, you take a deep breath, stretch your body, and reflect quietly on what truly matters. That simple pause isn't meaningless. It's an act of self-respect, a moment where you claim ownership over your morning rather than surrendering it to the noise. These small but intentional choices, from how we begin our day to the priorities we act on, become the building blocks of a meaningful life. But how can we truly reclaim our time and use it wisely? Stoicism offers a simple yet profound answer: seek peace within yourself. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." True stillness isn't the emptiness we often associate with loneliness. It's a return to essence, a deep homecoming to who we are beneath the noise. Solitude, though it may seem daunting, is in fact one of life's most underrated treasures. In those quiet moments, we stop trying to impress, to chase, to outperform. We simply listen to ourselves. Picture a young woman who decides to go hiking alone in the mountains. At first, the silence feels heavy, unfamiliar, even unsettling. But as the days pass, she begins to hear her own voice more clearly. She realizes she has been living her life according to what her parents expected, what her colleagues admired, but not what her heart truly desired. And in that solitude, she discovers a long-forgotten dream: to become a writer. That's the power of silence. It doesn't just offer rest, it reveals truth. Every moment of quiet reflection is a chance to live more fully, more honestly. Ask yourself, if today were your last, would you really want to spend it consumed by unanswered emails, complaints, or regrets? Or would you choose to be present, to create, to love, to explore what makes you feel alive? Time is not something to be filled, it's something to be honored. It's not meant to be given away to every demand, but rather used with purpose, to grow, to discover, to return to yourself. When we learn to pause and reflect, even briefly, we find peace gradually making its way into our lives. Questions like, what do I truly want? Or what makes me feel whole? Stop being intimidating and instead become invitations. Doorways into deeper self-understanding. In this quiet inward journey, we don't escape the world, we become free from it. Not because the world stops asking things of us, but because we stop looking outward for answers that can only be found within. This peace doesn't come from control, it comes from acceptance, from the realization that our value isn't determined by constant busyness or the opinions of others. It's born in stillness, rooted in self-awareness, and sustained by self-love. In solitude, we uncover more than calm. We begin building the foundation of inner strength. We start learning what it means to be self-anchored, to act not from pressure, but from purpose. And with that clarity, we are ready to take the next step, learning how to harness the power of self-reliance. Because solitude teaches us how to be alone, but self-reliance teaches us how to rise. After solitude teaches you how to be still, self-reliance teaches you how to move, how to act, how to live with confidence, even when no one is there to cheer you on. The strength you've been searching for isn't hidden in some distant place. It's found in the simple, powerful choice to act rather than wait. Self-reliance doesn't mean perfection, nor does it mean withdrawing from the world. It's not about rejecting help or denying connection. It's about trusting that you already have what it takes to face life's challenges independently. It begins with something small, like taking ownership of your own finances. Instead of depending on someone else to manage your money, you track your spending, set personal saving goals, and feel a deep sense of pride each time you hit one. It becomes more than a habit. It becomes a declaration that you are in charge of your own path. Have you ever felt alone in a crowded room, surrounded by noise and people, yet feeling utterly disconnected? In moments like that, you might have wondered, do I really need others to feel whole? The truth is, you don't need dozens of people, constant affirmation, or material comfort to feel complete. What matters is learning to enjoy your own company and discovering joy in the little things that make life beautiful. Sipping tea by a window, writing in a journal, walking through a quiet park. These are the moments where you return to yourself. When you begin building self-reliance, a shift happens. Life no longer feels like a constant chase, trying to fill gaps with others' attention or validation. Instead, you begin to feel a quiet peace that doesn't depend on anyone else's mood, approval, or presence. you realize you are already whole, already strong. And in that realization, you not only stand taller, you begin to inspire others without even trying, radiating a calm and quiet confidence that speaks louder than words. The journey to self-reliance helps to validate your worth. You've always been enough, and as long as you believe that, the world will begin to reflect it. If you're ready to claim your inner power, comment "I choose self-reliance" to mark the beginning of this shift in your life. Each step you take toward personal independence reinforces the truth that you deserve a life that is rich, fulfilling, and deeply your own. And once you understand the value of standing strong in who you are, you come to another powerful realization. Your energy is limited, and you must protect it. That leads us to number 4, learning to say no with confidence. Saying no may sound simple, but for many, it's one of the hardest things to do. Yet, it's also one of the most powerful gifts you can give yourself. Saying no isn't just about declining an invitation or turning down a request. It's a declaration that your values, time, and mental well-being matter. In Stoic philosophy, Marcus Aurelius reminds us with a question that echoes through the ages. Ask yourself at every moment, is this necessary? That single question has the power to cut through the noise and reveal what truly deserves your attention. Picture this. You're in the middle of a busy workday, focused on completing a task that truly matters to you. A colleague walks over and asks for help with something they've procrastinated on. You hesitate, torn between your desire to help and your own priorities. If you say yes, you risk sacrificing your goals and overextending yourself. But if you say no, with sincerity and respect, you uphold your boundaries and affirm that your time is not disposable. The ability to say no is not selfish. It's self-respect in action. In life, if you don't value your time, others won't either. By choosing to say no when something doesn't align with your values or capacity, you free yourself to focus on what truly matters and build relationships rooted in honesty, not obligation. The people who truly respect you won't be offended by your boundaries. They'll appreciate your clarity. Saying no is a skill, and like any skill, it gets easier with practice. Start small. Say no to a social event you don't really want to attend. Excuse yourself from a conversation that's draining your energy. Over time, you'll begin to see that saying no doesn't make you less, it makes you more whole. In Stoic philosophy, the highest form of strength is freedom. Epictetus once said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life." It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. And when you stop saying yes to everything out of guilt or fear, and start saying no with purpose, you take back control. You stop giving your energy to things that deplete you, and begin investing it where it truly counts: your growth, your purpose, your peace. Take a moment to reflect. Is there someone in your life who continuously pushes past your boundaries, who drains your energy or makes you feel small? If so, it may be time to draw the line. Saying no may feel uncomfortable in the moment, but it creates space for a more honest, respectful relationship to form, one where your voice is heard and your needs are honored. When you learn to say no, you're not closing doors, you're opening the ones that truly matter. You begin to protect your mental clarity, emotional balance, and physical well-being. And from that place of inner alignment, you live more authentically. Saying no isn't a rejection of others. It's a commitment to yourself. A statement. Let's continue this journey by exploring how to care for yourself holistically so you can live a vibrant and meaningful life. Number 5. Caring for yourself inside and out. True self-care is more than pampering, more than a fleeting indulgence. It is a deeply meaningful journey back to yourself. A steady foundation upon which both body and soul can thrive. It is not about seeking approval or admiration from others. It is a bold, quiet declaration that says, I deserve to be loved and cherished by myself. Stoic wisdom teaches us that real self-care is the highest expression of self-respect. It is not a temporary act, but a lifelong commitment to honoring your own existence. And the beauty of this path is that it doesn't require grandeur. It often begins with the smallest, most accessible gestures. Imagine a slow walk under morning light, the air fresh against your skin. That simple moment strengthens your body while softening the mental noise. Or picture a home-cooked meal made with intention, not just to eat, but to nourish, to show yourself that your well-being is worth the time. When was the last time you truly listened to your body? When did you last allow yourself to pause, breathe deeply, and feel your heartbeat? These are not extravagant acts. They are doorways. In today's world, so many of us forget to meet even our basic needs. Deadlines press in. Worries collect like dust. Sleep becomes fragmented. Meals are skipped. And fatigue sets in like a fog. But a weary body cannot be the home of a peaceful mind. When you care for your physical needs, when you sleep enough, hydrate consistently, and feed your body with mindful choices, you create the conditions for your spirit to be strong, calm, and resilient. This is not superficial. It's protective. It's how you shield yourself from the chaos that surrounds you and protect your inner sanctuary. But caring for your body is only the beginning. Once that foundation is secure, the next step is nurturing your soul. Spend time in silence, letting your thoughts pass like clouds without grabbing hold of them. This mental stillness, even for 5 minutes, can sweep out the clutter that builds up over time. Or take a pen and begin to write, pouring your feelings, your questions, your gratitude onto paper. You may be surprised at how your heart lifts, how even the tightest knots in your mind begin to loosen. Self-care is also a practice of Stoic virtues: discipline, moderation, and wisdom. Waking up early for exercise instead of hitting snooze again, that's discipline. Choosing a nourishing meal over a tempting but unhealthy snack, that's moderation. And remembering that what you do today, no matter how small, will shape the strength and stability of your future self. That's wisdom. True self-care is never about proving your worth to others. It is about whispering to yourself over and over, I matter. I will not abandon myself. It is a quiet practice of dignity, a personal rhythm of peace and inner strength. So ask yourself, what have you done today to show your body and your soul that they are loved? Begin with the smallest things: a breath, a pause, a healthy choice. You deserve every drop of goodness you pour back into yourself. And if you've made it this far, you are already walking a path that many never begin. Your presence here is a sign of your commitment to growth, to clarity, and to reclaiming control over your life. Many people give up before they even begin, but you are still here, and that speaks volumes. Keep going, because each lesson builds on the last, and by the end of this journey, you will have a full, practical, and empowering plan to focus on yourself and face life with clarity and strength. So stay with it. You are worth every step. Now let's move forward. Number 6. Managing personal finances with ease. In the eyes of Stoic philosophy, true freedom is not found in having more, but in needing less. Epictetus captured this with clarity when he said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." Real wealth is not about endless consumption. It's about contentment, purpose, and self-mastery. And nothing reflects this more clearly than the way you handle your money. Financial well-being is not just a skill, it's a gateway to peace. When you take control of your finances, you take control of your future. You're no longer reactive, no longer held hostage by impulse or short-term pleasure. Imagine this: payday arrives. Instead of rushing to splurge on new gadgets or plan a lavish dinner, you pause, you breathe. You ask, will this truly add value to my life? That single question begins to change everything. Many of us spend money not out of necessity, but to soothe emotions or to create a certain image, hoping to impress others or escape discomfort. Yet when the thrill of the purchase fades, what remains is often an empty wallet and the quiet weight of regret. Stoicism reminds us that true joy does not stem from temporary indulgences, but from simplicity, clarity, and purposeful living. I speak from experience. There was a time when I poured money into lavish items, extravagant dinners, and high-energy parties, thinking these things would elevate how people saw me. At first, it felt exciting, even empowering. But slowly, as my bank account dwindled and my sense of fulfillment remained shallow, I found myself staring at receipts and wondering, what am I really doing with my life? One day, that question hit hard enough to spark a change. I made the decision to turn things around. I started with a simple but powerful step: creating a budget. I examined my spending habits, cut out what wasn't serving me, and redirected my money toward what truly mattered. I began investing in skills, taking better care of my health, and setting aside savings for the future. The result wasn't just financial growth. It was the unexpected calm that came from knowing I could handle a crisis without fear. That, to me, was real freedom, not the illusion of wealth, but the confidence of being prepared. The discipline of managing finances isn't about deprivation. It's about defining your values and making sure every dollar supports them. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "If you seek tranquility, do less, or more accurately, do what's essential." That idea applies not just to tasks, but to spending as well. Focus your money where it matters. The trip that opens your mind, a course that empowers your future, or a quiet moment shared with someone you love. When you treat money as a tool rather than a goal, you begin to see how building a financial cushion lays the groundwork for long-term peace. It gives you space to breathe, to act from intention rather than desperation, and to live in alignment with your beliefs. So ask yourself, does this expense truly enrich my life? If the answer is no, the right decision is already clear. Peace of mind, security, and self-respect. These are the currencies that matter most, and they're perfectly in line with Stoic wisdom. Now let's turn to something just as vital: how we carry ourselves within our relationships. Number 7, maintaining dignity in relationships. In a world full of noise, expectations, and pressure to conform, preserving dignity is not just a quiet act of rebellion. It is a path to inner strength. Dignity isn't something you chase in the eyes of others. It's something you build from within by living in truth and standing firm in your values, especially when it's difficult. As Marcus Aurelius said, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Think about a common situation. You're at work, and you're asked to participate in something unethical. Maybe altering a report, covering up a mistake, or keeping silent when you should speak up. You know that saying no might cost you approval, connection, maybe even opportunity, but you do it anyway. Quietly, without drama or self-righteousness, you say no and continue with integrity. That quiet strength, calm and unshaken, is the purest form of dignity. Yet, how often are we tempted by the ease of approval? How many times have we nodded in agreement just to avoid conflict, only to walk away with a hollow feeling inside? That discomfort is your inner self telling you, this isn't me. Dignity doesn't lie in pleasing everyone. It lies in respecting yourself. When you honor your values, you create an inner foundation that no criticism can shake. You create relationships built not on performance, but on truth. This principle applies powerfully in love as well. If you constantly mold yourself to meet a partner's expectations, the relationship becomes more about survival than connection. You may appear perfect in their eyes, but inside, you're losing yourself piece by piece. But when you speak honestly, when you share your truth and remain grounded in your identity, you not only preserve your dignity, you give the relationship a chance to grow in balance and authenticity. Ask yourself, am I being true to who I am, or just trying to be someone others will accept? Seneca said, "Associate with those who will make a better man of you." That's not just about choosing better friends. It's about first choosing to be better to yourself. When you guard your dignity, you set a standard for how others treat you. You teach the world that your respect cannot be bought, borrowed, or broken. And from that place of quiet strength, your relationships, whether personal or professional, become a reflection of mutual trust and integrity. When you uphold your dignity with consistency, you naturally attract like-minded individuals, people who don't demand that you shrink or perform to earn their approval, but instead lift you up and inspire you to rise higher, not by changing who you are, but by encouraging you to stand more confidently in your truth. These are the relationships that breathe life into your soul, the kind that align with your values rather than erode them. Dignity, when lived with sincerity, becomes more than just a personal code. It becomes a lighthouse, steady and unwavering, guiding you through the darkest storms. But it is also something softer, a warm glow, a subtle radiance that touches the lives of those around you and silently invites them to do the same. In this glow, you find not just peace, but a grounded strength, the kind that cannot be shaken by external chaos or momentary conflict. If you are ready to embrace this path, let this moment be your declaration. Starting today, choose to live with honesty so unwavering that even life's fiercest winds cannot sway you. And as you begin to live from that place of inner alignment, you'll discover the quiet resilience that allows you to withstand any storm. Which brings us to number 8, embracing calmness in the chaos of life. Life, much like a rushing river, has a way of sweeping us along in its unpredictable currents, leaving us breathless and scrambling for control. But Stoicism teaches us a different approach. It reminds us that serenity isn't something we find by running away or hiding from difficulty. It's something we create by learning to master ourselves amidst the waves. Have you ever wondered whether we can control the unpredictable nature of life at all? Or is the only true power we hold the ability to govern our own minds? Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." These words are more than philosophy. They are the key to inner freedom. Imagine this. You're sitting in your car, trapped in traffic, the clock ticking closer to a critical meeting. Horns are blaring. Tension builds. Can you change the traffic? No. But what you can change is your breath. You can soften your shoulders, release the grip of urgency, and turn this inconvenient moment into one of quiet reflection or inspiration. Serenity isn't reserved for monks or philosophers removed from the world. It's found in ordinary lives, in firefighters running into flames with steady resolve, or surgeons keeping calm hands as life pulses under their care. These people don't avoid fear. They override it with composure, and that is their strength. Marcus Aurelius spoke to this truth when he wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." You might wonder, how do we begin to develop that kind of inner strength in such a chaotic world? The answer lies in narrowing your focus to what is truly within your control. When life throws obstacles in your path, ask yourself, can I change this? If not, release it. Imagine standing outside on a sunny day when rain begins to pour. You wouldn't yell at the sky. You'd open an umbrella. You'd adapt. One practical exercise from Stoicism that nurtures this mindset is premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. Each morning, close your eyes and imagine potential challenges. A harsh critique, a delay, a moment of failure. Then tell yourself, I am ready. When you rehearse adversity in your mind, you remove its power to surprise or derail you. Seneca once wrote, "If you really want to escape the things that harass you, what you're needing is not to be in a different place, but to be a different person." This idea shifts your entire framework. Peace doesn't come from rearranging the outside world. It comes from changing how you show up within it. When everything around you feels chaotic, try to be like a still lake. Let the winds pass overhead. Let the ripples settle on their own. Serenity isn't a distant treasure to be chased. It is something that already lives inside you, waiting patiently to be embraced. And now, number 9, speaking less and doing more with purpose. In today's fast-paced world, where flashy language often earns more applause than meaningful action, Stoicism stands as a calm voice urging us to remember where true strength lies, not in what we say, but in what we do. When your actions align with your values, there is no need to explain yourself. As Epictetus wisely put it, don't explain your philosophy, embody it. Let your behavior become the living proof of who you are. Think back to a time when someone's words seemed promising, but their follow-through disappointed you. Perhaps a coworker assured you they would support your project, only to disappear when pressure mounted. On the other hand, maybe a quiet colleague never made bold claims, but showed up when it counted. That person's reliability spoke volumes without a single speech. Words can inspire, but actions reveal. The people who truly impact your life often say less and do more. When your life becomes a reflection of your values, when your choices speak for you, you develop a quiet credibility that can't be faked or forced. The world begins to trust you, not because of what you promise, but because of what you consistently deliver. So as we continue, ask yourself this: are my words a substitute for action or a reflection of it? In the end, who truly earns your trust? The one who speaks with charm, or the one who quietly solves the problem without ever seeking recognition? Today's world is saturated with flowery words and enticing promises. On social media, it's easy to project grand ideals, paint a perfect life, and speak of values with poetic grace. But not everyone lives by what they proclaim. Stoicism teaches us to remain grounded, rational, and discerning, to resist being swept away by empty declarations, and instead to observe with clarity. Real actions, not rhetoric, always reveal a person's true character. Have you ever noticed how much more you learn when you choose to watch rather than speak? By refusing to be drawn into superficial distractions or reactive behavior, you gain something far more valuable than attention. You gain wisdom. This habit not only sharpens your ability to understand others, but it also offers quiet opportunities for self-growth. You begin to refine your character, not by announcing your intentions, but by acting on them. Let your actions define who you are. In relationships, there will inevitably be moments when promises are broken or expectations are left unmet. In these moments, rather than giving in to hurt or lashing out in anger, try practicing silence. Step back, observe. Ask yourself what this moment is teaching you. Then, instead of demanding more from the other person, shift your focus inward and protect your peace. True wisdom doesn't seek to change people who are not ready to grow. It simply knows how to set boundaries. Start small. Complete a task no one asked you to do. Help someone without telling anyone. Work on your dream without announcing every step. Each time you act without seeking credit, you grow stronger. You become a little more focused, a little more resilient, a little more aligned with the best version of yourself. And slowly, your silence and consistency become your loudest message. The world may not notice you right away, but when they do, it will be undeniable. When your actions are clear, purposeful, and consistent, your life becomes a living reflection of the philosophy you uphold. So let me ask you, what speaks louder in your life right now? Your actions or your words? If you've ever experienced a moment when someone's behavior revealed more truth than their promises, or if you've learned a powerful lesson from choosing action over talk, share your story in the comments below. Your reflection might inspire someone else on their journey. And now we arrive at number 10, connecting with the tranquility of nature. Imagine standing at the edge of a quiet forest just before sunrise. The soft, golden light filters through dew-laden leaves. The trees rustle gently, and a distant bird's song drifts on the breeze. There's no need to speak, no pressure to perform. Just you, nature, and a deep, rising sense of calm. In that moment, the noise of the world fades away, along with the mental clutter you've been carrying. Nature, in all its quiet majesty, offers a gift we often forget exists, a reminder that peace is never out of reach. It's always been there, patiently waiting for us to slow down long enough to receive it. Reconnecting with nature is one of the most grounding ways to return to yourself. Look up at a starlit sky and reflect on how every star, though light years apart, contributes to the harmony of the cosmos. They don't speak, yet they tell a story, one of persistence, quiet brilliance, and meaningful existence. Under that vast celestial canopy, your worries shrink, The pressure lifts, and suddenly, the present moment becomes more than enough. Nature also teaches us the gentle art of letting go. Think of autumn leaves drifting from the branches, not in resistance, but in graceful surrender to the wind. They don't cling to their former place. They become part of something larger, a cycle they trust. It makes you wonder, what are you holding on to that you no longer need? What burdens, fears, or grudges are you gripping so tightly that they're keeping you from feeling light again? Sometimes, all it takes is a deep breath, a moment of stillness, and the willingness to let go. I remember a day when I stopped mid-run in a local park to watch a small stream winding its way through the trees. The water wasn't in a hurry. It didn't force its way past rocks or obstacles. It simply flowed, steady, soft, and sure. That stream wasn't just moving through nature, it was teaching me something. How often do we exhaust ourselves trying to control every detail, every outcome, when perhaps the wiser path is to adjust, to adapt, to flow? The stream's lesson was simple. Strength doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers, and those whispers, if we're quiet enough to hear them, can change everything. It was a gentle nudge toward resilience and acceptance, a quiet reminder that strength doesn't always roar, it often whispers. Immersing yourself in nature does more than bring a fleeting sense of calm. It reconnects you to who you are at your very core. Every whisper of the wind, every sunbeam warming your skin, every ripple across a still pond feels like nature's soft voice saying, "Don't let the chaos out there distract you from the calm within." Take a moment to stop, to breathe, to listen. Let nature guide you. In its stillness, you will find a quiet strength, a strength that doesn't demand attention, but simply exists, steady and deep. It reminds you that no matter how overwhelming life may seem, the peace you're searching for has always been within you, patiently waiting to be noticed. Together, we've just explored 10 powerful ways to focus on yourself and stay grounded amidst the unpredictability of life. 10 profound lessons drawn from Stoic wisdom, time-tested principles that are not just about surviving, but about living with clarity, integrity, and calm. These ideas aren't just philosophical. They are practical keys to unlocking the serenity and strength that live within each of us. In a world filled with constant noise, pressure, and comparison, sometimes all it takes is a single moment of stillness to remember what really matters. Let these lessons be your quiet compass, steady in the face of noise, firm without needing to shout. If this video has brought value to you, please take a second to click the like button. It helps us know we're on the right path. We'd love to hear your reflections in the comments below. Your insights often become the inspiration someone else needs. And if this message resonated with you, don't hesitate to share it with someone who might need to hear it today. Lastly, be sure to subscribe so you never miss our upcoming content. Thank you for watching, for listening, and most of all, for being part of this meaningful journey with us.